Hey, good morning, everybody. It's your buddy Eddie Buffalo. Welcome to the show. It's Eddie Buffalo Live number 8. It's Friday morning, 9 o'clock here in beautiful Greenville, Texas. And it is May 2nd. Can't believe this year is just flying by. It's just amazing to me. I hope everybody has nice plans for this weekend and this month. Pretty much summer starts in most of the country. At least people start doing more outside things. And weather should be nice here. I hope the weather is nice where you guys are. I just want to let you know that today's Eddie Buffalo Live number 8 is brought to you by, let me find my guys here, a sponsor that we really like. They just came on board about a week ago, and we've been getting a really great response for them. And I destroyed their name the first time, so I kind of wanted to do a do-over and talk about them. Basically, the name of the company is Zevo Life, and their website is zevo.life. Interesting for a website, isn't it? I thought it was kind of cool. Looking for a game-changing way to improve your health? Zevo Life is the world's most nutrient-dense whole plant back with over 50% plant protein, essential amino acids, fiber, and antioxidants. Just 1 teaspoon a day supports your gut, boosts energy, and promotes healthier skin and hair. No wonder it's receiving a rave 5-star review. Ready to feel the difference? Visit zevo.life and start your journey today with a 30-day risk-free guarantee. Holy crap, that's awesome. And for you being wonderful, valuable Eddie Buffalo watchers, you can get 30% off by using the promo code Buffalo. So check out our friends at zevo.life. I think it might turn things around for you if you're having trouble. Let's get on to the show. Whoops, I almost killed the whole episode. That's what I get. They're not paying attention. What I want to talk about is that I remember when I was a kid, all the summer blockbusters were coming out. Everybody was so excited. Even when all of the big Marvel movies came out, I mean, my son and I would actually go to the 12 o'clock showings. And that went for Star Wars, too. So you haven't seen a lot of hype anymore. It seems like everything changed after the pandemic. So many people are used to watching it on their phone, their tablet, everything's streaming. Disney's having some success, some bad, like the mess with Snow White. You know, I'm sick of hearing about it, but I kind of can't help myself from watching it. So I'm just guess I'm one of those guys. So I was super excited. I almost did it again. I almost killed the call again. I was super excited when they talked about the Marvel movie. Went way back when they started talking about the movie coming out, the Thunderbolts. I was super excited because I actually remember buying the comic books for myself and my son to read. And that was way back, believe it or not, in 1997. Thunderbolts #1 came out. And basically, the premise of the Thunderbolts was that they're anti-heroes. These are all bad guys that came together in a team trying to do good. And if you look at the gentleman in the mask, that's Baron Zemo. He was one of the baddest ass villains in the Marvel universe that has been used bit, you know, in the movies as of right now. And I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't do more with him, you know, and especially when they were talking about the Thunderbolts movie, you didn't hear nothing about Baron Zemo. So I was fortunate enough to watch a preview screener of it. And I'm not going to give away any spoilers because I'm not that guy. But let's jump right into it. So let me share this tab here. As you see to the right, Florence Pugh, Lewis Pullman, which he looks, Pullman's got to be his dad. Hannah and Joe Kamen, Sebastian Stan, Bucky Barnes. I mean, everybody knows who Bucky Barnes is. David Harbour, you'll know him better. In this movie, he plays the Red Guardian. He's the gentleman in the red suit here. And he's actually Florence Pugh's dad in the movie. And you remember him from Stranger Things. So it's a little bit more splash. What I thought was super cool was that it was a fresh idea. I mean, Marvel's been going back to the same well for so many long times. And this was a great opportunity to introduce a new bunch of superheroes to people that weren't geeks like me and my son that read the comic books. And I got to tell you, Julia Louise Driver plays Valentino Allegro, whatever. She's kind of the big bad. You know, you really don't know if she's good or bad for the longest time. And I'm still on the fence whether she is or not. And this is an actress that I was probably one of the few people in the world that was not a huge Seinfeld fan. I never really got into it like everybody. I liked it, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't like, oh, I need to watch it, you know. And my son introduced me to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's HBO show, Veep, way when it wasn't even on the air anymore. And I got to tell you, if you've never seen Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Veep, it's something to check out. In this movie, she brings a little bit of that sassiness, but she's like I said, you make your own decision if she's good or bad. And like I said, I'm still on the fence about that. The new big superhero is this gentleman right here, Lewis Pullman. I gotta see who his dad is. It's gotta be who I'm thinking, Bill Pullman, because he looks just like, yeah, there he is, Dad Bill Pullman. And he plays a character by the name of the Sentry. Kind of like a superhero type guy. And how they introduced him, it was kind of interesting. So, like I said, I don't want to ruin anything, but that'd be cool if they did another Independence Day and they had him as the president. Just saying, you can only wish. So, like I said, check it out. If you're a comic book person, if you're a superhero movie person, if you like just good entertainment that you don't want to think about, Thunderbolts might be for you. It's going to be coming out widely May 2nd, which is tomorrow, which is today, I meant to say. And check it out. Let me know what you think. What I'm going to do is on Sunday, I'm going to do a box office roundup, and we'll see how much bazillion dollars it made, because I'm sure it's going to make a lot. We're going to move along on something that I thought was very interesting. Now, I was always a big fan of Van Halen. Love Van Halen. I love Van Halen. I love Van Hagar. Even when I was a bellhop at the Hyatt Regency Buffalo, the band stayed there for like 3 or 4 days. And nice bunch of guys. Everybody was pleasant. Alex is the only one that didn't really talk to anybody, which is, it sounds like that's his character. Sammy Hagar was great. And they all would go down the street and play tennis constantly at the Buffalo Hilton, which I thought was kind of interesting. So the other day when I was watching YouTube, I came across, it says Sammy Hagar new song. So it was probably Monday or Tuesday when they dropped it. And the name of the song is Encore and Goodnight. And it is a love letter pretty much, and like a tribute to Eddie Van Halen. I'm not going to play any of it on here because I don't want this video to take down, because I wanted to talk about this a little bit more. And like I said, for me, Van Halen's always going to be, you know, David Lee Roth and the boys. But Sammy Hagar did a fantastic job. And a lot of this is coming out. He's finally talking about why the Van Halen boys did not talk to him for 21 years. That's insanity. So I guess how it happened was that Sammy Hagar and Eddie Van Halen and Michael Anthony pretty much wrote all the songs. His brother did not. And he's seen a lot in the news lately. You know, he doesn't want to play drums anymore. He sold his collection of drums and things like that. And, you know, there must be a lot more to the story because Valerie Bertinelli, who was married to Eddie Van Halen for quite a long time before the divorce, said she does not want a Van Halen biopic come out until after she passes away, which I'm like, wow, there must be some really good stories. And I'm sure they were, you know. And I guess if you want to get down to why the Van Halen boys did not talk to Sammy Hagar for a long time is Sammy Hagar has the Cabo Wabo tequila. And it's a good tasting tequila. When I drank, I did enjoy it. So it was doing bad. It was doing bad business. So the Van Halen boys said, yeah, you can just take it, you know, if you lose money on it, make sure you sign all this so we're not responsible for anything like that. But, you know, it's all yours. Just run with it. And he ended up selling it for $150 million. And they were pissed that they let that go through their fingertips. But what are you going to do? So I guess that's the crutch of it. And I want to tell a funny story. I was watching a YouTube video called Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and he had Bill Hader on from Saturday Night Live. And they were telling a hell of a story because I didn't realize Bill Hader used to be a writer on South Park. And I guess who used to be a humongous fan of Van Halen was David Lee Roth. I mean, he's got enough money to do whatever the hell he wanted. So he'd hang out with the boys. He'd be running his skateboard up and down, you know. And he said Bill Hader's like, everybody's like, oh my God, that's David Lee Roth, you know. And he just wanted to be one of the fellows. So Bill Hader was telling a story about David Lee Roth. I guess David Lee Roth, and we're going to have to ask Billy some David Lee Roth stories because I'm sure Billy Sheehan has a bunch. And with the story they were telling that Dave must have been promoting either a tour or an album or maybe that he was a paramedic in New York City. Who knows? He was a funky dude. And he was always wearing like flamboyant outfits. And David Lee Roth was on the radio interview. He had a long ass coat on. And here comes Henry Rollins, excuse me. Great rocker, very clean guy, always into fitness and everything like that. And he's like everybody else. He's a fan. He's like, oh my God, it's Diamond Dave. I got to talk to him, you know. So he approaches Diamond Dave, and I hope this story is true because it's so damn funny. And he goes, oh, you know, Henry Rollins, you know, I'm a big fan of you, Dave. You know, that's so great to meet you and everything like. Thanks for all the great music. And David Lee Roth opens up his long ass coat, and it's loaded with like booze and beer and everything. He goes, you want a drink? And he said it was like 6:30 in the morning. He said, no, dude, I don't drink, you know. And Dave says to him in a straight face, why? You got to go to school? So I could actually see something like that happen. So I think that was a pretty good story. And like I said, I hope it was a true story because I would love to hear about that and a little bit more. And like I said, we are going to try to get our buddy Billy Sheehan to take us behind stage of what kind of a fella David Lee Roth was. That's one celebrity I've never met, and I would really like to put that, you know, he'd be a great get for the show. I'm sure he would be a riot, you know. So, and for me, make it Van Halen, with David Lee Roth, and nothing against Sammy Hagar. I loved Three Lock Box. I loved listening to him when I was a kid. It's just that for me, if you're gonna listen to some Van Halen, and Ike will say this too, he loves old Van Halen, and we listen to a little bit in the morning, and we trade songs as we're at the gym to each other, texting us. But I want to take a break to pay a bill, talk about another sponsor that we have for the show. And this is a newer sponsor. It's called QuantumSquares.com. Quantum Squares is an energy bar with 100 milligrams of organic caffeine. Eddie Buffalo needs like some more of that because I don't get enough caffeine in all the coffee I drink. For a long-lasting, stable energy, every delicious bar provides balanced nutrition with 10 grams of plant-based protein. You notice it's kind of a theme today. Our other sponsor had plant-based drinks, healthy fats, and complex carbs. Use the promo code BUFFALO for exclusive discount for all our listeners. So once again, check out quantumsquares.com. I think it looks delicious, and I think you'll like their website. The website is very vibrant and a lot of fun, and I'm all about that. So check out quantumsquares.com and use the promo code Buffalo, and you will get 25%. I didn't even say that. 25% off. So usually I got Donnie telling me what I need to do, but he's not here. So on you, Donnie Lowe. Another thing I'd like to talk about is I actually watched another movie last night. And it's a movie that came out last week. And I'm not a really big fan of horror movies. I mean, I'll watch them, but to me, a lot of them are the same, you know. And if it comes into something that's like an original idea, I want to check it out. And so I watched this movie last night, and it is called Lockdown. And I always have the worst time saying this gentleman's name that stars in the movie. It's Bill Skarsgård. And in the movie, he's also with Anthony Hopkins. And the premise of the movie is that he's a single dad, down on his luck. He was behind on his spousal payments, his child care payments for like 2 years. But he's turned himself around, you know, trying to make things good. And like once a week, he had to pick up his daughter, and he was always late. He was just one of those guys. And he was getting his van fixed, and he was like $75 short from getting it fixed. And the guy's like, tough, you know, screw you, you know, give me my money or you don't get your van. So let me see here. He is going along and he's checking like handles on cars to see what the, you know, if he can break into it. And lo and behold, he gets into this high-end SUV that was owned by Anthony Hopkins' character. And it was open. So he went right into it, you know, and he said, and he's trying to, you know, look through it and see what he can steal. And he tries to get out, and he can't. Anthony Hopkins actually traps him in the car and tortures him through the whole movie. So I'm not going to spoil it with anything else, but it was definitely something interesting, something different that I thought was really interesting to watch, you know. And I always enjoyed this guy. I can't remember the other movie he was in where he was a he was like a martial artist, you know, and he didn't talk, you know, and I just thought it was kind of interesting because the gentleman that was doing the voice of him in the movie was the guy that is Bob in Bob's Burgers. So it was just comical seeing, you know, this guy kicking the crap out of everybody, but yet hearing the voice of the dude that does Bob from Bob's Burgers. So, well, listen, I want to thank everybody for watching these shows. Like I said, I was going to do them as long as they were popular, as long as people liked watching them, and that's what I keep on planning on doing. Pretty much, I've been doing them on Fridays and Sunday. I like to go around the horn and talk about what movie, how the movies did this weekend, what the box office was like. Last week, we incorporated a little bit of music into it, what was top of the charts, to see things like that. And I might touch on a TV show, because one of my favorite TV shows is on last night, and I didn't get to see it, called Hacks. And I got to be honest with you, they did such a good job of writing it that they're only like 4 episodes into it. And I would have been content if that was it, if that was the end of the show, So tune in next week. We have a full week of shows. Monday, we have Buffalo Fights. And instead of talking about combat sports, we're going to be talking about something that was close to my heart growing up. Evel Knievel. I mean, I loved watching all the nonsense that Evel Knievel did and everything else, and it was very interesting. And me and Donnie decided we are going to do a show about Evel Knievel on Monday. Tuesday, EBN News for You. You never know what we're going to talk about, because so many crazy things have been going on in the world. We are going to go into part 2 of Insurance Questions podcast on Wednesday about annuities, because we got bombarded with questions that I think need to be answered, and we'd like to do that. And Thursday, I don't know who Donnie's going to have on his show, but you better get somebody on his show, because I'm sick of booking people on Thursday. So everybody have a nice weekend. I'm going to end the show like I always do. If you like working with people that are just like you, have the same values as you do, cherish your family as much as you do, we're the people to see. You can reach us at Eddie Buffalo Insurance, and you can even call our hotline, which is 903-662-1564. And we're also going to make a super exciting announcement. And take it easy, everybody. Remember, life is worth living. Keep on fighting, baby. Take care.